general, it seems to improve your skill level. Bjergsen got one back in the spring split and upped his game for a little bit there, so I think that's the deal for these guys. But in a champ select we go. First ban going to come out, Lee Sin, removed from both Crumbzz and Zion. Other question is, will he get Jax?
Now, Crumbzz has a really deep champion pool as far as junglers go, so the target ban there probably won't hurt him too bad. It is his favorite champion, though, to play on, so it looks like they're just going to scatter their bans across the map here and take out just all-around strong champions currently, because we've been saying it over and over, Shyvana's win rate in the North American LCS is ludicrous.
Yeah, just doing a really good job just being able to engage into fights. I think right now Curse is trying to pinch a pick right here. I think Jax right now is a big focus. LeBlanc, though, also opens Soraka available as well. Twitch on for this one. So with the ban right here for Lulu, I think Curse is looking to try to grab 3 of the 5 top picks and let Dick only get 2. Depends what his ban is here. So Jax does get removed.
As you said, there's a lot of mid lane picks still up. A lot of people have actually been focusing Quas with bans, so banning out both Jax and Renekton. With 2 of the main top laners banned out, Shyvana and Jax, though, it does leave Renekton kind of standing tall up there.
The thing is, Quas is happy to play Mundo here, whereas Zion lost all his carry top laners here. He's really got none left that I've seen him traditionally play, unless he like brings out the Kha'Zix top there. So Curse, I want to say it's interesting. It's LeBlanc here, and if Shiphtur doesn't play Soraka, then Curse really cornered the market on mid laners.
Yeah, definitely very happy with that pickup. Voyboy pioneering the move speed mobility boot LeBlanc too.
Yeah.
I doubt that he will return to it, though. He got a lot of flack for the build, and he didn't actually see that much success with it. So we'll probably see a more standard LeBlanc this time around.
That just might be the case. So I'll have to see what he goes for with this build. He's going to burst people out. Dignitas going to take their time. Actually, Mundo for Zion. He's going to take that away from Quas. Crumbzz gets his Elise.
Yeah, I mean, Zion has played Mundo as well to pretty good effect. Trundle as well is still up. He can steal percentage health, but it's not as good of a counter to Mundo as it is to something like Shyvana. So they'll probably be saving that top pick for Quas. They don't need to pick it early here, unless they really want to get some counter picks for the bottom.
And I guess I'm trying to think about the pick game here as well. The fact that I guess Lucian and Twitch are both up. Neither team is rushing that one, because we've seen first pick AD carries come through before. And it's not the case for these guys. The hover on Soraka.
Top line.
I wonder how real that is, but that actually might be. Lucian hover, that's going to be grabbed here for Koff. Orianna the hover. I'm curious. Like, we've seen top LeBlanc actually over in Europe. Soraka's going back to that one. TF, like, how much you trolling me, Voyboy? What are you going for? All right, so a top lane mage for Quas coming through, unless it supports Soraka.
It could be a support Soraka. If it is one of the solo lanes, though, then I really do like it. We saw modified Soraka builds incorporating Morellonomicon, and since you're spamming Starcall the entire time in a team fight, it's very strong against Mundo, because you can always apply that debuff and cut his regeneration. So that may be an in-draft phase adaptation here from Curse, trying to bring in somebody who will constantly be applying the debuff.
Well, we'll see what that ends up being. We've even seen, to a certain extent, even supports getting enough money. I've seen KiWiKiD go for Morellonomicon early on Zyra, for example, if that ends up being something they care about. And again, either way, you're facing against a Soraka, so that item is still useful regardless. On either side of this team, both have really large amount of healing. Twitch actually might go completely unpicked and ban, not QtPie. No, he's going to lock that one into Zyra as well for KiWiKiD, so we might just see just that.
Interesting. So they got some counter initiate here. The anti-dive queen Zyra to pair with Twitch. They don't have any shields for Twitch right now, though. They pass up the Morgana and decide to go with just Zyra here.
Interesting. So last couple of picks here for Curse. They can really move their lineup any way they want. I've seen LeBlanc and Soraka mid, top, and support in competitive play, actually. So theoretically, that comp can go any way they want with it. 25 seconds to go till they make the rest of their distinctions here. We only really know their AD carry is Lucian, butting up against Twitch Zyra. They're going to go for the jungle Evelynn, going to be locked in. And yeah, that Quas Renekton got banned away so many times. He's going to get it. Support Soraka.
So they do leave it till last. There's a reason that's banned out too. He's extremely confident on that Renekton. He even will run Teleport Renekton. A lot of other people sticking with Ignite for the lane pressure. But going up against Mundo, he may finally switch off of his Teleport.
Yeah. Kill pressure in if you can. But there we go with no real hard engage in the lineup aside from Evelyn Flanks. Dignitas last pick middly here. So Shiphtur will be able to play long range and generally fairly safe unless you get a good LeBlanc engage.
Yeah, neither of the teams have really good hard engage. And Dignitas with the last pickup there get a big poke advantage. Curse would really like to keep the team fights in small areas so they can make use of that Soraka and make use of some brush for LeBlanc assassinations. But really there, I'm liking the last turn of events there for Dignitas with the last pickup.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, if you're fighting in small areas, you're fighting on top of Dr. Mundo, on top of Zyra Stranglethorns, and the Twitch ulti. Like, I think Dig's lineup works really well against almost everything Curse wants to do.
As long as they don't get picked off here.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBlanc, we've seen LeBlanc single-handedly take over games. So if they can control Voyboy and keep him down, then things are looking pretty good.
I will see if they can keep Void down. The champs are locked in. Let's count the votes over LOLesports.com, where 76% of you are giving this game to Dignitas, and well, with a 3-0 record, that's not too big a surprise.
All right, you can also update your vote by tweeting us at LOEsports if you decide you need to switch your vote and you want to be on the winning side. Use that hashtag CRSWin or DIGWin. We will be periodically updating the votes.
And I got to say, the mid-game votes have turned out to be surprisingly accurate. I remember that 70... well, think about it, the 70-30 swing. I can't talk today. For complexity in the middle of that one.
The end is Super Week, Freak. This is where we start to get a little loopy.
Yeah, slurs all over the place. I can't even speak anymore. It's crazy. But, you know, I'm just high on League of Legends action. It's awesome to be here. It's wonderful games. Dignitas versus Curse. Now, both these guys, see if they can keep their streaks going in this one. They're headed in opposite directions right now.
Yeah, this could be a 4-0 team and an 0-4 team.
Yeah.
If it turns out the wrong way for Curse here. They definitely don't want it to end that way.
No.
And LMQ would be happy to be sitting alone at the top of the standings, I'm sure, as well.
Seriously, and you look at the LCS overall. Of course, we just had the European Super Week finish a couple days ago. No one was 0-4 or 4-0. It was a bunch of 3-1s, 2-2s, and 1-3s. And I mean, that's kind of the normal thing for Europe, as they're all kind of clustered together, and you know, you've got like 6 games separating first from 8th. In North America, you see a little bit of separation, but it's traditionally been like 1 or 2 teams at the top, and then kind of like a very even scaling down the middle. But you look at, again, we just had the interview with the TSM members where they're like, yeah, we're kind of only like top 4 right now. Like, we've got to keep going up. Cloud9, again, looking a little bit shaky here. This is a very surprising 2 teams to start out 4-0, right? TSM gets 2 new members, Dignitas gets 2 new members, but Dig hit the ground running. They're up 3-0.
So many changes we had coming into every single team for the North American LCS. Cloud9 had an injury. That counts as a change.
Sure.
You know, they had to switch out, use Link for a long time. And switching back to him, they have had a rough start here. All the other teams bringing in new players. Probably the most successful of the changes, though, has been this team right here, Dignitas.
Absolutely.
Bringing in the Coast solo laners and forming the Dignicoast squad.
Dignitoast was what I saw it as. That was the post, was Dignitoast. That was a great name, personally, because it's nicely warmed bread. It's crispy on the outside, and these guys are all soft in the middle as well. But that went weird. But okay, so we have a quick pause in the game, by the way, which is why you're still seeing us and not the actual champions, which are generally more attractive than we are, but that's okay. Basically, so here you go. You've got Dignitas, who I think have done a really good job in Champ Select. We had their players talk about their coaching, Scar for Micro, Drunk Scar for Macro, and here's another game where it seems like they've set themselves up very well for success.
Yeah, that's an interesting point for me. Since I said at the beginning of the day, shot calling really has shifted so much towards planning in League of Legends. One of my favorite quotes from All-Star was Reckless. He was like, playing against SKT, I can't even farm a single wave without them taking something.
Yeah.
And the reason that you can't farm a single wave versus SKT without them taking something is because they prepare that 2-pronged attack ahead of time. Several minutes in advance, they'll go down, cut off half of a wave, and as it's building up, they send everyone else to a different spot of the map, attack you right when that wave crashes onto your turret, so you don't have any time to farm the wave, and they get something out of it. They put you in these lose-lose situations where all these teams that have been doing reactive shot calling have just felt like they have no choices, and they don't have time to catch up because SKT are doing planning. All the teams like this are planning much better than they are.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. You can bring this down to a small scale, for example, when teams go for Baron attempts, for example. I mean, we've got a Dignitas team in front of us. You got to talk about Baron attempts. Because the ones where they'd set them up so well in advance, right? Like when they had one of their very, very commanding wins early on, I think it was the very first game they played, actually. And like Shiphtur was going to go 15-0 in that one. It was like they had ward control. Shiphtur was hiding in a brush like a screen away from Baron. They're like, we're ready for these guys to face check. And then he one-shots the AD carry, and the team backs out, and they get Baron because they had planned every step in advance. Swept all the wards away, put their own wards down, ensure that they knew everything was going to happen.
Yeah, and talking about vision games and how important the vision game has come, the other thing you have to plan in advance are your trinket swaps.
Yeah.
That's definitely something a lot of North American teams have been lacking in too. The cooldown, you need to work around the cooldown of your swapping out your trinkets, whether it is for a scrying arb or for a sweeping lens. A lot of teams, they'll be in the position like, oh my god, I need a scrying orb right now. Too late. You had to already plan for that. You can't just buy it and be able to start using it.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. I've been thinking about the vision game a lot recently, and when you're talking about forward shot calling, or what's the word you use instead of reactive, but like the planning of shot calling? I forgot the word you used. Now I feel dumb. But when you're planning all your moves 2 minutes in advance, like a lot of those you can make don't even require wards, is the funny thing. Because it's like, if we dive bot and they're forced to recall, we have a guaranteed dragon. You could have 7 wards on Dragon Pit, but we know it's a 4v2. And you'd guarantee that it's yours, right? 100% of the time it's yours no matter what. And those same kind of things happen when you're like, we're going to push when the giant wave is there. If you fight us, we have 70 minions. You'll lose the fight no matter what. They can do that regardless of their opponent's moves, right? Like the really good teams set things up where there is no good reaction or there's no good defense. You got to do something else elsewhere on the map. When you see really good teams, they'll take like, one team will get Dragon, and another team will get mid-out or turret, because the team knows, yeah, you set up Dragon perfectly. You're right, we don't get that.
Yeah.
So a good team will do something else instead.
Those are the lose-lose situations they're trying to set up.
Yeah.
But something that good vision does help you do is do something that I've seen LMQ play a lot. They play extremely aggressively when they don't have the actual power to play aggressively. Like, there's no jungler behind me, yet Ackerman is still in your face in what should be a losing trade. Since he's so obviously doing this and it's a losing trade, his opponent backs off and says, oh, he must have someone here, and he ends up winning something that he should be losing, allowing you to bluff. It's a lot like poker. They just continue to bluff because they have good vision. They control that, so they keep their enemies guessing.
Well, speaking of pokers, here we go into the game. Nidalee on the Dignitas lineup. Curse here in blue, and we are into the game for ourselves. The crowd is ready for game 4 of 5 at the tail end of Super Week here. Can Curse salvage their record? Can Dig continue theirs untarnished and tie LMQ for first place? That's what's on the line for these two teams here.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
So we have a Twitch and a Mundo up top. Maybe doing some lane swapping here. We have one sweeper as well. Now, you can start with a sweeper and use it for the invade and then sell it as you recall before minions even spawn if you want to. Or he can just hold on to that to make sure that his first gank coming around, he'll be able to make sure that he's not spotted out in whatever bush he's trying to stand in.
Yeah, something that Crumbzz actually does on Elise specifically. He has spiderlings to check brushes for him. And this is the second time I've seen him do this, I think. You're talking about trinket swaps, actually, just as a random note. Most junglers I see will switch trinkets on their first recall, regardless of what they have in their inventory, except for Lee Sin's to make ward hop plays.
Yeah, did you know if you place your trinket ward, then you go back and you swap it out, you don't lose that ward. It still stays up there. So that's definitely, if you're going to plan on swapping your trinket, always place your ward before you go back first. It's free, one of the only free things.
True.
League of Legends.
It's a 2-minute cooldown anyway. There's not even a real opportunity cost. It's great. All right, well, Dominate will be taking his blue buff right on top of a trinket, although, yeah, it'll just barely see him start, I believe. So Curse, they're going to know they were spotted starting their blue buff up. Dignitas know about that as well. And the interesting thing is, actually, Dignitas have their 2-man team on the top side of the map. So if they go for their own blue, there's a chance that Curse can invade and stop this.
Yeah, interesting situation here, because usually when you go with a lane swap and you put your AD carry and support up top, you invade that blue because you have more members of your team on the top side of the map. You need the top 2 buffs. That's where you have control. However, Dignitas have swapped their 2 players up top, and they're deciding to do the buffs on the weaker side of the map for them, where Curse can actually contest.
And they're trying that right here. Elise coming in as well. ZionSpartan forced to run away. Xpecial by himself, zones away, and there we go. Quas and Dominate. They grab the blue for it.
Yeah, they get burned for that decision. And it's a pretty big pickup for Curse, honestly. Double blue buff start there. This is going to be a triple buff start for the duo, I guess. Even Quas shared experience on both of those.
Yeah, and I want to, like, I'm thinking about how Curse saw that. I don't think they got deep wards down themselves. I think Xpecial just went up from his lane and said, hey, which buff did Crumbzz start at? Saw blue was there and said, hey, Dominate, run across the map. We got this.
Also, if they're starting at their own blue and then they magically see this AD carry and support in the top lane, they're questioning, why did they not invade our blue buff? And they'll take it. Advantage Curse.
Very nicely done. We're watching the mid lane matchup now. Voyboy, who's been having actually a very good week right now. It's a player we questioned a little bit coming in. Had one of the weaker performances in the spring split, but right now he's been, I think, the most consistent member of Curse almost. Looking back to his kill scores of what he's done in his Yasuo games, pulled a ban this game. Right now he's sitting on a 10 minion lead against Shiphtur.
Yeah, he has had a very strong showing here in Super Week. Silencing a lot of the critics. And Shiphtur. Heyo! Sorry, told you it was the end of Super Week.
Hey, no, that was a great one. That's worthy of like day 1 A block.
Oh, look at this. We're going to have a, what is that? Is it freeze up there top? It's pretty deep in Dignitas territory. Yeah, KiWiKiD is keeping that one very close to his turret.
It will slowly push out though.
And Quas is actually heading up there right now. So I would actually expect Quas to do, you know, a little more double jungling right now. It's dangerous for him to extend up there. He did get to that level 3 before Zion did, since they got the triple buff start though. So maybe that's enough. Now that he does have his slice and dice, he's got all 3 of his skills.
Ooh, smite steal by Dominate. He's going to take away one of those big wraiths, and he's going to feel pretty good about that one. Crumbzz barely level 3 and out of resources, forced to recall back. Dominate's already gone back for Spirit Stone and has full health and mana.
I mean, this is the chain of events that is going to occur when you get a single buff start for one of the junglers, especially if you're fighting Evelynn. If Evelynn can get any sort of lead on you, she can constantly counter jungle you, because this early in the game, people are not purchasing peak wards in their own territory. She can get by everything and find you at a camp. Doesn't really matter what jungler you're using. If you get found at a camp, you're gonna lose the 1v1.
Yeah, and you got to think about the fact that Curse is actually winning a large majority of their important lanes, like Voyboy's pushing up here, so that if Dominate does spot a pink ward, he can kill it without actually being counterattacked by Dignitas, because they can't leave their lanes without losing a bunch of minions. And actually, here's Dominate.
This is actually pretty dangerous.
Yeah, well, it's a 3-on-2. Level 4 now for the dual lane of Dignitas. Dominate still waiting around. All the cooldowns are available. There comes the engage. Quas gonna stun up KiWiKiD. Huge damage on Zyra. First blood goes to Quas. Dominate still on the chase. PewDiePie burns his heal, not his flash. Should get away from this.
So the support Soraka with Renekton here. Best dual lane combo. They've left the Lucian down to solo bottom. Actually extremely strong since he got such an early lead in CS. We talk about how AD carries in the current meta are kind of returning to their old level of power.
Yeah.
Because so much of the early creeps are being fed to them. He can actually solo lane versus many top laners, not just the weak Mundo.
Silent.
PewDiePie though.
PewDiePie Special has turret aggro. He's got 1 shot left in him, but the stealth comes in time. Curse not going to pick up that kill, but PewDiePie's got to still be careful.
Yeah, he probably has to back off.
Fury used by Shiphtur, Ignite as well. Voyboy takes a lot of turret damage for that one though, and Crumbzz comes on the side, pushing back Dominate.
Dominate pretty much has control of this top side jungle too, dropping deep wards to keep track of Crumbzz movements. Really, they only have to worry about that bottom side of the map. So as long as Cop can handle himself, not get too close to Zion, they should be fine.
He's doing great though. He's got 58 minions compared to the Imaqtpie 44. which is kind of his like lane opposition in a certain sense in this one. Also, I mean, Quas has a mini lead over ZionSpartan, dominant now. Of course, they realize that Dig has started red buff. They're already ready for this one.
Let's see if they can get a 4-buff second round.
Oh man,
though, because they are one step ahead of Crumbzz right now. They know where he started. They've taken one already. It's actually a very quick chain of events to get that second one too.
Well, looks like right now Dominate's on his way back to his own blue buff. The opponent blue buff will be pretty soon. See who hits level 6 first. Quas also waiting in the wings there. KiWiKiD gonna take some damage, does not take enough though. It doesn't get stunned or anything. Quas forced back.
Now, if we do see another blue buff invade here from Curse, enemy blue buff, there's already a pink ward, defensive pink ward placed, so that would cause problems. They aren't going to overextend for it though. Happy with just taking away the red this time. So Shiphtur will be able to get second blue here. It's a pretty big win for Dig. They definitely need that on him because right now he's getting destroyed by Voyboy.
That's pretty rough right now. 30 minions the difference right now. Gigantic, massive lead here for Curse. Dignitas have not found anything to do so far in this game. An 1100 gold lead just from the laning phase. First blood plus minions doing that. And so
also,
far, plus a buff.
Also, a LeBlanc versus Nidalee, where the Nidalee's jungler gets behind early, is going to be really brutal for her. Nidalee extremely weak early on. And Voyboy's just done a good job of harassing him.
Yeah, you saw actually the barrier being used by Shiphtur instead of the heal. He's got enough heal on his own kit, so barrier for the anti-burst there. Did keep him alive for one of the all-ins. And you can see that Shiphtur's able to one-shot minions at the very least with Javelin, so he's guaranteed about half the minions, but Voyboy still scaring him away for everything else.
Yeah, he always has to be worried about Evelynn as well. That's why with the blue buff, he's just going to stay as far back as possible and CS with the Javelin.
We're going to tank a couple of those just to deny some CS, although cost him a potion is actually a gold negative proposition. Quas level 6 now. KiWiKiD forced to hide away on this one. Looks like these Solar Renekton's working just fine. Soraka is recalled back with Xpecial. He's got to actually make his way down towards Cop's lane to help him out.
The plan for Curse here is definitely going to be vision control with this team that they have too. They want to be able to pick people off and take objectives after killing someone. So they want to be able to make use of this Evelynn. See if he sweeps by that pink ward first try.
Well, I think they're going to start the Dragon attempt pretty soon.
Ooh, he does find it.
Yeah, Curse almost always try for Dragon in the first 10 minutes. Dominate will get this safely. And again, now that their dual lane is bought, the movement over to that's going to be pretty quick. Crumbzz, though, will answer back on this ward. Another trinket comes down, though.
Both teleports are available for the top laners, but Zion has put all of his money into tank stats here. Every last drop of gold into tank stats, so he can get to be the focus for his team, the tank, as quickly as possible if that dragon does come down. Whereas Quas is going with the damage, the Tiamat, to be able to shove and to be able to farm between those turrets.
Looks like he's going to make his way down through the map right now. Maybe tries to spot out on Shiphtur or somebody else. Sees that he took the Wraith camp away, but won't get anything else off of this one. 40 minion difference in the mid lane. Shiphtur still hiding away a fair bit. Quas, though, wants to make a play for this mid lane, and there's Dominate as well.
They can get some damage on the turret, but having the double melee here, I don't know if 3 ranged minions is going to be enough.
Get it down to about a quarter, though, and it's going to be just barely waved away by Shiphtur and Crumbzz, but that move down actually did sacrifice a full minion wave in the top lane that Zion pushed in. So if this turret doesn't get picked up, that wasn't worth it.
See if Zion tries to actually head him off here too. Alright, just places his defensive pink ward. Everybody trying to pay for the Evelynn tax, however bottom lane did not pay. So they have no idea dominating the area. See if he can actually make something happen though, because this bottom lane should be playing defensively. They're already behind. And Curse are the ones with the sustain advantage.
Oh yeah, it's
counter gank options would be available.
Those are so hard to read though, because we haven't really seen Dominate on the map much. Like, he's really been part of so few kills. If you wait around to counter gank someone who's barely ever showing up, I feel like you just lose a lot of your jungle doing that. Quas, ZionSpartan, 1 level lead actually for Zion here, because he was solo lane for more of the laning phase, so higher share of XP for him.
The thing that you want to do against Evelynn is get the early jump, however, starting with 3 buffs. it really transitioned them into not getting any green wards inside the camps of Curse, so they had no idea where Dominate was moving. And then it also delayed those defensive pinks, which were taken out at pretty early as well.
Look how safe Voyboy's playing. He's like kind of afraid to attack the turret. Finally goes in for it now. Crumbzz shows his face. Dominate again is always in the wings when Voyboy goes for the mid lane turret. Xpecial even shows up as well. Curse are keeping everyone safe. There's no option for Dig to make plays.
Another ward, 2 wards placed inside the red side jungle here from Dominate as well during his time spent. So the vision control that they want is definitely still there. And they're looking for a 3-peat on that red buff steal.
Now the root's going to go in towards Shiphtur, getting him away from the turret. The turret itself does go down. Voyboy does take it one out with some help earlier from Quas and Dominate. Speaking of Dominate, he is going to go for this 3rd red buff steal. Looks like nobody even going to try to stop that one. So it's every single time something in the jungle gets stolen away from Dignitas.
Curse has done such a good job of working with that early advantage. The jungle advantage translates into mid lane advantage in the 1v1, which consequently gives them more jungle advantage because they take down the mid turret and they can continue invades from that point.
Ooh, Curse going for their first double buff steal on this one. It's inside the brush though. Xpecial gonna get rooted. Did he go a little bit too far? Puffs the heal on himself. Looks like he'll be safe, but the blue buff does get secured. Engaged from Voyboy. Not too much.
See if they take this opportunity though, because they just forced a couple of recalls, and they will.
The team's in total darkness right now. Dignitas can maybe guess and assume this is happening. But it looks like they are not trying very hard to stop this one away. Looks like Dragon will now also go to Curse on top of their kill and 2 turrets. 3,000 gold.
Now KiWiKiD has been able to rush his Blade of the Ruin King, but it's a very dangerous proposition to try and ambush Cop. So he would have to find there's actually no good option. You can't show up next to LeBlanc unless there's someone else there where Voyboy is already burning his spells. And you can't find Evelyn because he will be invisible most of the time herself.
Ooh! Crumbzz smite steals.
The walk by smite, able to get it.
There you go. For the first time, Dignitas finally equalize on buffs in the jungle. Cocoon reveals that Voyboy's there. A little bit of damage from the Spiderlings, and Voy's low on mana.
At that point, there was no choice for Curse. Wow, Dominate actually takes the spear. Dominate's smite was down for that, so it wasn't like he was.
Oh, man! That is not what you want, but KiWiKiD also not in the right place. Gets taken down. 1 from it. Zion comes with the TP. Quas overextended. 2 kills Dignitas.
That's the full damage build right there. Yeah, he can get the kill, but he can't survive any of the retaliation there from Dignitas. And that little chain of events gives them control over mid. Cop also getting cocooned under the turret though.
Voyboy getting some damage down. Cop though doesn't have HP and this turret will fall. The sheer fact that Shiphtur landed 2 javelins won them that mid turret.
Both right in Dominate's face. And he got the double buffs off of it as well. Very, very fortunate. He only got a single buff. He already had the blue one. But man, Dominate is got to keep his eyes open. Quas comes in for the 100%, but in comes the super tanky Mundo. Another spear landing in the back of Quas there. Shiphtur, even though he got shut down in lane phase, the spears are counting right now.
Yeah.
More than making up for it.
Yeah, we actually haven't seen a ton, to be honest, happen from Voyboy. He did get the minion, he got the turret first, but nothing else yet had happened. So Dignitas, good job to not be too afraid and make some plays.
And all it takes is that one small window for Dignitas. Look at the wards that they were able to get down with that little window of control that they had over the map. Now they got vision on both sides, mid turrets down. They've got some room to work with. This is a very important step for Dignitas comeback. Hard for them to make plays without any of that vision. Okay. Now they should be aware of the move from Curse. Everybody's swinging up to top.
Well, they weren't aware in time though. Curse do take their 3rd outer turret now. But as Dignitas losing their entire outer shell, there's jungle now. A little bit more open for these guys. They can get wards down. Quas does have a ward in inventory. 2 sweepers also, warding totems available right now from Curse. Dominate's going to put one down as he walks around in the jungle. Looks like these guys are trading vision. Shiphtur has a pink ward in the jungle as well. But he's still standing on top of one. So Curse even has some deep wards. They're shoving top lane.
Curse are still pretty squishy. I mean, we talked about Quas building all offensive. So is Dominate. Everybody's building damage right now. So if Dignitas can get picks, if they can get a cocoon to land, if they can get someone snared up with grasping roots, then they can kill somebody pretty quickly. The only problem is they don't have Twitch with them, so a straight up 5v5 would be too much. Which Spear, Scar, there were 3 of them in a row that all hit and got killed.
I'm sure when he timed it, he knew which one, but you know, it's late tweet this time around. Halfway down in this turret, though, Quas the front lines. Javelin will get dodged away. Crumbzz gonna get not quite rooted, but does lose a quarter of his health. Dignitas holding on for now, but that turret's down to 1/3.
So KiWiKiD has been able to get a lot of work done by himself as well, and they've also been able to focus some minion farm onto him with that delay up top as well. So Dig playing this very calmly, and they just jump right back.
There we go. It's a tier 2 turret taken up for Dignitas. That makes that 3-3 on the map now because no one stopped KiWiKiD, who's coming back to equalize in minions, 160 to 170 in minions. The fan vote going a bit more Curse's way than it was initially, but still saying Dignitas going to win this game, and with it back to 700 gold.
So,
maybe.
Talking about planning, everybody needs to be focusing on blue buffs now. Shiphtur is really the key here for this Dignitas resurgence. And Curse, I mean, they have the timers for when both blue buffs went down. So they should be formulating their plans around controlling those. Dignitas blue buff just came up. Let's see if they can make anything happen here. Because the gold lead's pretty much, you know, inconsequential at the moment. Only a few hundred.
Pink ward order there for Crumbzz, though he knows this is not revealed. There's no Evelyn nearby. Yeah, Spiderlings, yep, betrayed him a little bit. There we go. Shiph's gonna go for this blue buff. Quas is nearby. There's the chance this goes for a smite steal. They've got to be careful.
Gets one ward down. It's not gonna be in time. They forced it off Nidalee at least, so decent win there for Curse, and they didn't have to expend too much to get that. Everybody is on the bottom side of the map though, so it means that Zion will have free time up in the top lane.
Teleport's coming up in about 20 seconds for each of these top laners. Dragon in 15 seconds.
Wow, and Dignitas are actually the ones controlling both blue buffs here. Curse pretty much losing control of the game because of that last little fiasco in mid.
Yeah.
And Shiphtur ends up not getting his blue? What? Who's took it?
No,
KiWiKiD. Poison maybe.
Scumbag KiWiKiD grabs a blue buff there.
They control both blues, but they don't get either of them onto Shiphtur.
That's a small blessing here for Curse. Also the fact that they just went for Dragon anyway.
Look at a trade.
Yeah.
So far, it's a pretty fortunate trade.
This is good.
If they can actually equalize the tower push, because not only did they get Dragon, they also shoved mid. So Curse actually pretty happy with the way this one is going.
They're still going. Both teams aren't even backing down. Curse looking for an inhibitor turret right now. Dignitas doing the same.
Let's play chicken.
All right, well, no one's backing up right now. Here we go. Bottom inhibitor turret. This is actually a race that Curse is winning right now. They're up to the inhibitor. Voyboy takes turret. I gotta be careful on that one. First inhib gonna go down. Still
Recalls
minions.
and teleport go down.
Yeah, well, minions are coming in right now for Curse. They're right in front of that Nexus. Here they go. Turret number 1 under fire. Dignitas not all the way back just yet. Turret number 1 about to fall. The inhib just now died. Curse got the better of that trade, and now they run away. Cleaver does not land.
Will they pay for it, though? They took a lot of damage in answer. Nothing up on the map, but KiWiKiD still in the base, trying to do it himself.
He pops a spray and pray. Good damage coming down. It's going to be the ulti forced away by Quas, though. He's got to get away from this one. He would win that fight.
Can't chase him down, though. Ambush is up for KiWiKiD. He does have that blue buff as well. Very nice.
Yeah.
Using the cooldown.
It's true. Rat-a-tat Tat's going to be 10 seconds off as well, so might be up for the next fight because of that blue buff. Watch it like be up right then, and they like have a big battle, and blue buff saves the game.
So
unlikely.
Well, they traded a dragon for that blue buff basically in the exchange.
Yeah, I think the overall exchange ended up being like blue buff and outer turret for dragon, and the rest of the turrets were all traded equally. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, as you go later on in the game, dragon's worth more than the outer. We'll see if it's worth it for the blue buff. And we've got ourselves a 1,500 gold game right now. Curse are still in the lead. I don't think they've actually dropped the lead yet this game. But Dig certainly have made a bit of a comeback here to keep it close.
All right, so still I feel like Dignitas just have more options with how they want to finish this out than Curse do. Not only can they go for ambushes like that, but they also have that poke advantage. And really, Curse have to use vision to their advantage to get some picks here, get some kills away from turrets. And you can see that they know this, and they're building to actually try and go for those, because the Talisman of Ascension very early on Xpecial, they want to be able to use that move speed to catch someone out of position.
KiWiKiD looks for the engaged. Roots come in on a Voyboy Cocoon as well. Big damage. KiWiKiD stays alive. Javelin misses. Both teams disengage. Dominate very low. Flash comes in. Not quite the damage he needed. Flash trade there, but Xpecial once again caught. Blows up to a Shiphtur Javelin. Crumbzz tanks the cooling. Doesn't care about that one. He's got to be careful of the flash engage. Quas gets the damage down. The flash away now as well. KiWiKiD got to be a little bit careful this one. His ulti is down. Crumbzz will explode. 1 for 1 so far. How good's the re-engage now? Javelin hits. KiWiKiD claims the kill. Voyboy forced to run. Will they guess correctly? Cop also gets out, but 2 for 1 Dignitas' favor.
And Curse were fighting that with 4 members because Dominate was forced out of the fight by KiWiKiD, opening up on him and flashing forward. So pretty big win there for Dignitas. See if they can actually siege up right now.
Wow, this turret nearly going down. It's going to be close, and it does fall. It equalizes the Nexus turrets. And no, Dig goes for the mid lane tier 2. However, there's a big wave coming down the right side lane Dig has to react to.
They've got plenty of time, though.
Yeah.
It's going to have to work its way through a whole nother minion wave. Voyboy goes for the pick. He goes for the harass on a KiWiKiD and definitely paid for it. Xpecial also pays for his early Talisman of Ascension. Oh, man, he almost juked that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has no combat stats on that item, so he's very easy to burst down. Curse try and salvage something from the situation. But as we know, Shiphtur is throwing spears the entire time from the outside. Even though he missed that one, does hit the one that counts. And KiWiKiD cleans up another kill.
All right, and looks like the guy that's been sent to clean up the bottom lane is going to be ZionSpartan of Dignitas, the Dr. Mundo. Both teams will be able to reset their lanes very soon, and Hibs are coming back right about now. Shiphtur misses the hop. It's okay.
As long as he hits spears.
That one he hit.
Now, Dignitas are pretty happy with the way that it's playing out here. They do have a very strong late game going up against Curse. Curse are kind of running out of options. They had that early game push that they could work with. Slow advantage, but they weren't able to make anything happen. Now it's really Dignitas. They just keep on getting to throw shots out here. And Curse have to constantly dodge grasping roots. Baron doesn't even notice. That doesn't
Plant
hurt.
versus Barons. Mini game from Riot Games. Plant loses. You can actually never win.
I like that the Baron is always referred to as bait, but nobody references the fact that it's a giant worm, which is the most classic of baits used.
It's true.
Now, what type of giant fish are they looking to catch with it?
Might just be Crumbzz. They're going to go in. KiWiKiD gets exploded for free on this one. Xpecial running away. Nearly gets a javelin. Zyra passive already popped. Now Dominate very low because the ulti on a KiWiKiD though. Quas will not chase in. Cocoon lands on the Void though. Big damage comes in. And here comes ZionSpartan. Dig willingly fighting a 4v5. The Void clone comes in. Goes down.
Zion flashes for the slow.
All right, Quas going to take a little bit of health down to this one. He's below 1k.
Xpecial is going to be sacrificed.
Crumbzz looks for Xpecial. Quas in the front lines does a lot of damage, and a Shiphtur's going to fall. Zion can't do enough. Now he's going to get caught out. They trade KiWiKiD down to Xpecial, but it's a 3-1 for Curse.
They split. Xpecial draws everyone away from the rest of the team, and they just collapse on Shiphtur and Zion. The Coast members are left out to dry by the rest of Dignitas. And it's Curse that actually get control of Baron for it.
And Quas' teleport, they could go for this with their jungler still available, but they choose to bait the engages instead. Dig aren't even going to check this. I think they saw that.
All right, so anyways, Curse were able to use the few wards that they had. They got one of those picks. This is exactly what they're looking for, these fights away from the structures. That was a pretty fortuitous set of events for them. Taking down KiWiKiD initially. Cop does a good job at damaging from range, and Xpecial barely able to get away from that spear. Here's the re-engage you're talking about, the willing 4 vs 5. sounds good because they hit the Cocoon. They've got a blue buff on Shiphtur, a red buff on QtPie, and an ult for ZionSpartan. So everything's going according to plan here for Dig. They've got him on the run. Now is when they split, though. So Shiphtur and I believe QtPie goes off to the side here, too. Crumbzz is going off to the side. QtPie runs through the entire fight. QtPie just watches Coast members dropping to the floor, goes after Xpecial with Crumbzz. So I don't know if that was some split shot calling or if he just felt like that was not going to be a winnable fight there in the mid.
Well, we talked to Zion actually after their game yesterday, and he said, yeah, they kind of all talk. They all make calls, and if they're all getting conflicting calls and they're saying go for different people and no one really speaks up, that's a risk.
Yeah, that was a big point I was making at the beginning of the day, where if you are a team that has multiple shot callers, it's very hard for you to plan. And we talked about how important planning is. It's so much easier for a single person to lay these plans if people on his team are just feeding him information. Everyone planning at once does not work out.
So far, it's been a mixed bag for Dignitas. They have pulled it back to a 1,000 gold lead for themselves, but some of their in-fight movements have been bad. Voyboy loses half his health bar thanks to a javelin there. They said, no, that wasn't a ward. You really just got hit by that. So Sweeper doesn't find anything. They're forced to back away one more time.
Shiphtur's pretty good on Italy.
Yeah.
A lot of people ban it against them.
Yeah, actually a second item Void Staff, by the way. I don't see that super often on mid, but it will let him deal very significant damage to guys like Quas.
Yeah, and
Dominate, who are building MR.
Xpecial's got the aura, magic resist aura, already up for the team. So early magic penetration sounds like a good idea. We haven't seen the Morellonomicon come out, though, quite yet. He'll definitely want to finish his locket first.
Same for KiWiKiD, though.
So the Zyra burst damage there. And it will actually help because Xpecial's trying to heal multiple members. So KiWiKiD AoE damage applying the debuff is strong as well. Both teams benefit from that item.
Locket's there from Crumbzz. Dominic gets found out. The Cocoon lands well. Flash over the wall. He gets away. The Wish comes out. He stays alive. Crumbzz has to be careful. Quas flashes in and down goes QtPie. Great individual plays by Curse. They get a 1 for 0.
Ooh, let's see what Curse can actually do with this map control, though.
Well, Comp's going to take some damage. Half HP for him. Xpecial going to have to help him out with this one. Dig don't want to give up on this, but they have no AD carry.
It's still dangerous. Thankfully for Curse, Shiphtur doesn't have a blue buff. However, it's still very difficult for them to do anything inside of Baron. Yeah, one spear is all it takes to remind them of the fact.
Xpecial backs out with half HP. Going to clear the wards. Crumbzz also going to clear wards on the other side of this one. Quas gets stunned up. Javelin, this one's going to miss. The cleaver does land, though. Curse are still playing around this area, but I don't know why you'd play a poke war against a poke team.
They do have Soraka regeneration. Twitch is already back up, though. They would have to burn through this Baron very quickly if they wanted to come out with this being a win.
Oh, KiWiKiD gets blown up by Voyboy, though. A javelin does land onto Dominate. Quas still takes this one up. Zion trying to get vision for the team. Is going to be the attempted steal. Blue team picks up Baron Nashor. Quas takes the aggro. He's going to be all right. ZionSpartan low. Crumbzz also in a bad spot. Javelin hits Dominate. Nothing going to be found, though.
They're all alive.
2-0 for Curse.
The heals from Xpecial are almost as effective as a mid lane Soraka at this point. He gets every heal off when a member of Curse is under 100 HP, so their increased effectiveness of those heals. This is classic. LeBlanc killing Zyra. We see that all the time in League of Legends, especially the support Zyras. It's come back once again. Crumbzz goes a little late with the repel to get into Baron, and then he's stuck inside with Zion, just trying to get out of this Baron pit. No options, though. And QtPie, even though he's spraying or rat-a-tat-tatting over the side of the wall,
yeah,
not enough to add any kills, though. Spear's not landing onto the same targets consecutively, so everybody ends up getting low, nobody ends up dying.
And that was by Crumbzz, though, actually. He spent the entire time trying to walk up to the wall as though he'd claw over it with his feet, but
trying to crawl up the water spout there. No flash available, he can't get out.
Aww. You got washed out of the Baron pit, so Dominate and Quas going to make their way down to the bottom lane. Of course, there's no turret defending that inhibitor, so pushing could be easy for Curse. Cop loses half his HP. They're going to make their way down towards that open bottom lane. Cop Life steals back up to full HP, no big worries. Dominate scouts the opposition. KiWiKiD.
Invisibility versus invisibility.
He doesn't know he's seen.
Twitch does have the advantage in that matchup.
He's more invisible.
Yeah, okay, we can put it that way.
Oh, Voyboy looks for the engage. KiWiKiD loses part of his health, but doesn't land all the skill
gets
traps.
blocked up
Boy,
again.
very low on health. There's the battle. Shiphtur, Kiwi, all forced back. QTPie goes down. Looks like Curse are winning this fight. Zion forced to run away. He stays alive, but has no health. 2 kills Curse to get the inhibitor as well.
That Zyra is a tricky one.
There's only 1 turret. There was a 5 versus 3. Can they close out the game right here? Cursor looking to Zion. So the front line, Voyboy very low, but this Mundo will fall over. 1 for 0. Dominate has Zaka, but the turret falls. Now it's a 5 versus 2. Curse looks to find the win on this one. The next is at half HP. They find another kill, and that's the game. In 32 minutes, Curse snaps the losing streak.
Strong showing from Curse there.
Yeah.
Playing the dangerous game around Baron and coming out ahead. Several picks in a row. Also working around the spears from Shiphtur.
Yeah.
Very, very close game here, but there will only be one 4-0 team after Super Week. And that team is LMQ.
That team is LMQ, the unpunished record on only 1 team here. First, though, interestingly enough, actually won that game starting with the laning phase. Down the line, they were in the advantage. Every single lane got their outer turret down.
Starting even before the laning phase, I'd say, in the jungle.
True.
A weird choice, a weird start from Dig, I think.
Yeah, that was suspect. It's a very awkward level 1 start for them. Curse did punish that. Very, very smartly by the individual players to be like, hey, let me check this buff. Yeah, you're right, we can't go a 3 for 1 start. Then made the plays in their individual lanes. IWillDominate takes a couple of javelins, but still had a very good game afterwards.
This is going to do a lot for Curse's confidence, too. They knew they